On your appointment, I saw a post you made that this is not a government appointment.
No, it's not. I mean, that caveat has to be issued. There's so many appointments happening, so you need to be sure that it's not,
which one is this particular
one? So this
one?
is Africa Tourism Partners. This is a tourism advisory firm based in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Okay.
Whose CEO and founder is Mr. Kwachi Donko. He's Ghanaian, but based in South Africa.
Wonderful.
And it is one of the moving forces around tourism in Africa in terms of advisory to government, to private organizations, and to organizing some of the biggest tourism and MICE events across the country, across the continent.
Wow.
So the likes of the Africa Tourism business tourism and MICE Masterclass, the Africa Tourism Leaders Forum, the Africa Youth in Tourism Summit and Exchange. All these are events that happen across the continent every year that is organized by Africa Tourism Partners, among others. They're also a UN tourism partner on the continent. So Mr. Kwachi asks that I represent their interest in West Africa.
Okay.
So it's a matter of working with tourism, private and government-related tourism across the 16 markets in West Africa, so that we look at how to improve tourism in the sub-region. I mean, as you know, West Africa is endowed with a lot of cultural and ecotourism opportunities. And MICE is becoming also very important in the sub-region, but we haven't been able to properly leverage the things we have to position our region as the place to go. So part of what we'll be doing is to work with the ministries of tourism, the tourism boards across the region, the private tourism, the tour operators, the tourism business councils across the region, to make sure that we uplift tourism as much as possible. So that's just a small part of what I can say about the appointment.
That's lovely. Francis Doku right here. Yes, and he is West Africa Regional Representative, Africa Tourism Partners, CEO of Digital Plugin Limited. Now let's go on Zoom and speak to the CEO of Adansi Travels. I'm wondering when we'll have him live in the studio.
It's Adansi Travel. It's always travel.
Gideon Asare is joining us live on Zoom. He is CEO of Adansi Travels. Gideon.
Bye.
I hope you're doing well.
Oh, yeah, I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
Where are you at the moment?
I'm in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Oh, nice. Where you took us to some time ago?
It's you. So, we're handling a MICE group.
Wonderful.
Francis was saying, MICE has become very key aspect of the tourism. So currently we have a MICE group that is having their convention and gala dinner in Malaysia. So about 5 Africa countries converge here to have their program, and we are coordinating the logistics for them.
Wonderful. Good to have you on Showbiz A-Z. Please stay on with us because we have something big coming up on the show today. Joy 99.7 FM. 0551111997 is our WhatsApp number. If you have anything to tell us, you can do that right now via this number. Now, let me say hi to my favorite uncle, Uncle Ken Ade.
Kwame Dadzie.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm very fine. How about you?
How's your week been?
Cool, good. BB the year.
Always getting little fights on Facebook.
Oh, no, it's normal. It's normal. You've been monitoring me.
Oh yes, I monitor you, Papa.
Sometimes I go overboard, eh?
No.
Sometimes he does.
No. To be honest with you, for the past 1 or 2 years, Kwame has mellowed on Facebook.
Yeah, but
once upon a time, you dare not challenge Kwame. If you insult him, he will insult you back. But these days, he's quit all that and he's become very tolerant.
Adam Knighty and Philip are listening. Please, don't shout.
He's become very tolerant. And I like that aspect of him.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And I hope you're doing well too.
Yes, I'm fine. I'm just very excited at coming to meet Maame Efua. Because I haven't seen her in yonks, you know.
Over 10 years.
Yes, more than that. 10, 15.
Really?
Thereabouts, you know.
All right. Talking about Maame Efua, so we have a special guest today in the studio. She was appointed as CEO of Ghana Tourism Authority a few weeks ago. She's a former deputy women's organizer of the NDC, worked in the event, arts, and hospitality industries. We have Maame Efua Houadjeto. Yesterday, I requested for the pronunciation. I got it right. Okay, Maame Efua, welcome to Showbiz A-Z.
Thank you so much, Kwame Dadzie, and the team. Thank you for having me.
Now, let me even ask first question. How do you feel after having this appointment?
Well, for me, I just feel good about it because I believe that I fit right into the position, and I fit right into the industry, you know. So I'm excited. I mean, I've thought about it and I said, where else could I have been? For me, it's the best thing that ever happened to me. I mean, being pointed to a place where you understand what happens there, you understand the industry, and you believe that you can contribute, grow the industry.
Beautiful. For some of us, ordinary people like us, we only hear the appointments when it's announced. How is it like? Do you get informed before the day of announcement?
A day before, you get a call to come to the Flagstaff House and pick a letter. And you're like, okay, what position, you know? So, yeah. But other times too, depending on who you are, you may know. So everybody gets it differently.
Wow. But in your case, you were called a day before, right?
In my case, I was asked to bring my CV. I was asked whether I understand the industry, and I said I understood the industry.
Wow.
The following day, I got my letter.
Wow.
So I was interviewed a bit, basically. Yeah, so I was interviewed a bit and I got it.
So, when you got the appointment, how many days later did we hear of it? Okay, that's okay. That's fine. But how did you feel when you received the appointment later?
Honestly, it's a feel good. It's a feel good moment. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a feel good. I mean, you tell yourself that, you know what, I worked hard for this, and I have it because during the I've been around for a while, you know, both business and politics, and especially politics in the last decade and a half, you know. So with all the things that I've done politically, I believe that it was just right.
A good one there. Joy 99.7 FM. We're in the studio with a special guest, CEO of Ghana Tourism Authority, Maame Efua Houadjeto. If you have any question to ask, please do that here via 05511119997. Also in the studio with me, Uncle Ken Addy. We have Francis Doku. We have Gideon Asari. Also on Zoom, and we are having a conversation with Maame Efua Houadjeto. Now let's do some myself here, because when the appointments came, some people were like, "Oh, who is she?" Others said, "Oh, I know her." Uncle Francis, Uncle Ken, "Oh, we know her." And there were a lot of people who thought, who is she? If you can tell us who you are, we'll be very glad.
Thank you very much. Yes. Maame Efua Houadjeto. So I went to School of Journalism. So I'm a journalist, you know. And from school
you practiced journalism?
I practiced at GBC. So I worked with GBC for a while. I was a producer, an assistant producer for Hobby Time. So Hobby Time is a children's program. I remember when I got into TV, everybody said, "Oh, put her, take her to the newsroom." But you know, I'm one person that I like to work behind the scenes. You know, I'm a little shy, so I like to work behind the scenes. And so I was taken to the production department. I worked with Hobby Time, In those days, my producer was Geoffrey Kwao, of Ghana, he's passed now, so of blessed memory. And I was his assistant producer, and we produced all the children's program for TV. And he even made me a presenter for Hobby Time on TV years ago. This was in the mid-90s.
Okay.
In the mid-90s.
Okay.
So I worked with GBC for a while. Then after that, I became Oboshi Sai Kofi. In those days, she had Media Touch. Oboshi Sai Kofi and Titi. So I became Oboshi Sai Kofi's special assistant to support her in her media work. So we did, if anybody knows Oboshi Sai Kofi and her media, I worked with her.
Show
yes,
and all that.
I worked with her for a while. And after Oboshi Sai Kofi, I worked with Esther Koba.
Oh.
Esther Koba. So of Stratcom.
Stratcom, yeah.
So I was also her special assistant at Stratcom in charge of client service. So Esther Koba also was a PR, she's a PR guru.
Yeah.
So I worked with her for a while before I came to work with Charterhouse. Then it was multiple
concepts then.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I worked with multiple concepts. Then when it became Charterhouse, I worked with Charterhouse for about a year and a half before I moved on to M Plaza Hotel.
What was your work at Multiple Concepts at the house?
Multiple Concepts, I was head of client service.
Okay.
So I was there for almost 2 years. I was head of client service. No, I was with Multiple Concepts, then moved to Charterhouse. So in total, I was there for about 2.5 years.
Great.
Yeah. And yes, then after that I moved to M Plaza Hotel. When you're young, sometimes if anybody was there to double your salary, you'll move there. So yes.
So you had a better offer.
I had a better offer, and I went to M Plaza Hotel. Of course, M Plaza Hotel at the time was a premium hotel. That was a hotel that hosted every president that you can think of. We hosted Gaddafi, the then Nigerian president, any president that you can think of at the time. That was Rawlings' time. We had M Plaza, having them. So M Plaza was a really, really good brand at the time.
Yeah.
When I was there. I started as I went there for marketing, but I was posted to rooms division. So I worked there. I worked with the room as a rooms divisions manager, then became the acting managing director at M Plaza Hotel for a while, because the manager at the time she had gone to Switzerland to further her education. So I was with M Plaza for a while. Then after M Plaza Hotel, my husband at the time, still my husband. So at the time,
you need to choose your words.
Yes, I need to choose my words carefully.
You see what English
at the time
punctuations can do to you.
You see. So my husband and I owned a tour company with another with another friend called Kwame Dadzie. So my husband is Kwame Houadjeto. And they own a tour company called Royal Protocol Services. So Royal Protocol was a tour company, and of course offered protocol services as well. And we had a name at the time, So in those days, I worked with M&J Tours. I worked with M&J Travels. I worked with Fredina Tours, and I had a partnership with Sunseekers. So I am proud to say that Ghana's first cruise ship, as in tours, my company hosted it.
Wow.
And we worked with Sunseekers because we didn't have the capacity at the time. So we worked with Sunseekers with all our cruise tours. Yes.
So you've been in the industry.
I'm an industry person, you know, so I have that. Okay, so we did that, and you know, Nation of Islam also were lucky to get that deal. So Nation of Islam, that is Farrakhan, and at the time he had a gentleman in town called Akbar Muhammad, and through Akbar Muhammad we had all the Nation of Islam tours in Ghana. This was Rawlins's time, you know, so, and these were huge numbers. I mean, the crews came with big numbers, and also Nation of Islam came with huge, in the hundreds, you know. And single-handedly we also had the Association of Black Psychologists from Africa America, and these were about 450, 500 guests in town at the time.
Okay.
And you know, I'm talking about late 90s, thereabout, late 90s, early 2000, and we didn't even have the facilities that we have today. So we, at the time, we worked with the Labadi Beach Hotel, and they couldn't even take all of our guests, so we kind of split the guests over other hotels. And I remember that was a very interesting tour because we rented 14 STC buses from STC at the time. We literally grounded their services for a couple of days, you know, and that's how we moved our people around the country. And when we took the buses, we had 2 buses empty with us. Nobody was in. So because we had such a huge number, that we told ourselves that just in case anything happened.
Yeah.
And truly, when we were going, nothing happened. We did all our tours and we're happy. When we're coming back to Accra, one bus broke down. And it was just good that we had extra buses in the, you know, in the convoy. So we just had to.
Thankfully, it wasn't a social media era.
There wasn't social media like there is today.
Yeah.
So we beautifully moved our tourists into the bus that we had just in case, you know. So it served us very well.
Great.
And to date, Labadi Beach Hotel does not joke with us, because to date we brought them the biggest numbers. So yes, I have worked with Kwame Dadzie Sunseekers. I have worked with Fredina Tours. I have worked with M&J. I mean, late 90s. So yes, I've experienced the tour industry, and of course, after all of that, after Royal Protocol, I started my own company, Image Consortium.
Okay.
And Image Consortium was big with exhibitions. We tried a couple of exhibitions, but when we tried the building construction exhibition, it was a hit. So I'd done exhibitions for about 18 years before I went into full-fledged politics.
Before we get into politics, okay, let's get there. I'll come to this question. What was your inspiration for getting into politics?
Well, you know, when you work for yourself, it's exciting, but after a while you don't feel challenged. So after Ghana Institute of Journalism, that was after working for after being in the private sector and working for myself for about 10 to 11 years, you know, then doing the exhibitions, I decided to go back to school.
Okay.
So I went back to school. So I went to Coventry University to do a postgraduate diploma. Then after the postgraduate diploma, I did it in projects management.
Okay.
Because at the time with the exhibitions and all the events we're handling, it was only wise to take a course in projects management. So I did a postgraduate degree in projects management. Then I went ahead to do a full master's in projects management, and also went on to do a certificate in project management, that's PMP.
Okay.
Also another so I started, you know, following the projects management kind of world. And you know, you get to a place that you think that, you know, you've plateaued, you've done all of it before. Politics actually came to me by accident, and I took the opportunity. After a while, I gave out a lot. When I say I gave out a lot, I gave back to society. So in my community where I live, I used to support a few people with school fees. When people know what you do and they know you have what it takes to support, they come to you for help somehow. So a few people came to me for help, for school fees, for this, for that. And I also supported a few politicians in my community. That's Achimota. So I was there one day when the how do you call them? MC.
Okay.
The MC came with an entourage to come and see me. And I would always remember lawyer Atukwe. The name will come.
Okay.
So anyway, he actually encouraged me to come into politics.
Okay.
Himself and Sophia Koko, And when I came, I contested in Chobo constituency. So I contested in Chobo constituency. I made NDC in Chobo constituency very exciting. And after that, I didn't win. So I thought, well, I spent too much money I didn't know it was that expensive.
It was,
So it was too expensive, and I thought I spent so much money into this election, so I shouldn't let it just go. So I decided to pursue it properly.
Yeah.
And that's when I also went to contest as the National Deputy Woman Organizer, and I got it.
Okay.
So then it started well with me, and of course, being a woman and working with other women, it was easy. It was easy to advocate for women, in politics and all of that, and that is what I did. And after that, my husband always says that once a politician, you never want to leave the space. So I decided to contest again. But being at a national office, when you become a national woman, you become a national officer, and being in the national office, I realized it was important to contest in my region.
Okay.
Because politically, you're identified and counted in your region. So as much as I was loved in Chobo constituency, and as much as I was tempted to go back and contest in the Chobo constituency, I thought it will be good for me to be known in my region.
Yeah.
So I went to Infantiman
East.
Pardon?
Infantiman East.
Now it is one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a Infantiman constituency. And that's why I went to contest, because my mother is from Saltpond, my father is from Cape Coast. So I went to Saltpond, which is the Infantiman constituency, to contest. And it was an interesting race. I don't know why I didn't win, honestly. I don't know why I didn't win, because all the indicators told me I was winning until the last few days, and I lost it all. But all the same, the party realized my effort, my contribution, and rewarded me to be the Deputy Director for International Relations.
Yeah.
So I am the Deputy Director for International Relations
For the
at
NDC,
the NDC party, for the NDC party. And my boss is Alex Segrefia.
Okay.
And after the campaign, the president also honored me with the appointment for working very hard with the vice president now. I was in the vice president's team.
Wonderful.
In charge of logistics and protocol. And we went everywhere in this country to campaign. And now I sit here as the CEO of the Ghana Tourist Authority. So this is Maame Efua's story.
Good one there, and let's say welcome again.
Thank you.
To this sector. Joy 99.7 FM 055111197. I want to do something. I want my panel members here to give their introductory welcome address. Yes, let me start with Gideon Asare, who is in Malaysia at the moment. Any initial comments you want to pass for CEO of Ghana Tourism Authority, Maame Efua Houadjeto? Yes, now we know who she is before we even get into the conversation proper. Let me start with Gideon Asare, who is CEO of Ghana Travels. Gideon.
Welcome.
Yes. So,
it was interesting listening to Maame Efua, more especially with a diverse background, because the portfolio is big, and so if you have somebody with diverse background, and especially people who have done it before, there are so many things in our industry that if you haven't worked in it, you never know. Even when you are told, you still people think it's a bit easier. I mean, the work we do, but if you have been in the industry, working on the ground on the field, you kind of appreciate the challenges. And when you're in a position like this to maybe assist, you'll be able to be very spot on in terms of your recommendations and what you do. So, Maame Efua, welcome, and we look forward to working with you to ensure that we take Ghana tourism to the next level.
Okay, good one there. Gideon Asari, CEO of Adansa Travels. Let me come to you, Uncle Ken.
Kwame, your producer told Maame Efua when I came in that he spoke to me yesterday and told me Maame Efua was coming onto the show. But because I had informed him when Maame Efua's appointment was announced that I knew her and that she was a lovely lady, always smiling and blah, blah, blah.
I heard that.
My producer said to me then, said to her, that is what Uncle Ken is coming to do.
Well, Uncle Ken, that was off mic.
But I want the audience to
It was off record.
I want the audience to know because the fact of the matter is there is not a bad word I can say about the lady. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
There is not a bad word. I got to know Maame Efua when she had an office at the Dubois Center.
Correct.
Okay.
Center, correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Maame Efua was working from the Dubois Center, and I had just joined Joy FM from Groove FM.
Correct.
Where music
That's-
lives.
that's-
Yeah, where music lives. Yeah, that's important.
Yeah,
that
very
tagline.
important.
When you mention groove, you have to mention
Where
that.
music lives.
I think it was Cox Tamaklo
Correct.
that introduced me to Maame Efua.
Correct.
Maame Efua was working on a project
Yes.
and needed someone
Yes.
in the media to help
The
out.
launch of Fidelity.
Fidelity Bank.
Correct. Yes.
Yes. So Cox introduced me to Maame Efua, and I got to work with her on that particular project and realize what a lovely, lovely, lovely lady she is. You know, like I said to your producer, she's always smiling. You never see Maame Efua, you know, in a bad mood, kind of. What I didn't know about her was the political side.
That came later.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. But, you know, having heard other people praise her for her work, even there, in the political side as well, I am not surprised that she's loved by everybody, including the president, to even go as far as offering her the position. And like she said in her introductory comments, she said that she's cut out for the position. And I agree with that. I might be biased because of my association with her, but that is the utmost truth I can spew about the lady. So welcome to the position. I will keep tabs on Maame Efua.
Thank you.
You know, and this industry is such, as a friend of mine said to me yesterday, our industry is so entitled that we think that the state owes us too much than other industries.
The state owes us a cabinet position.
Oh yes.
I didn't want
that they do, and we'll talk about it later.
Yes,
we will
I didn't
talk
want
about
to
it later.
move there.
We will go there.
That is the conversation.
Not now. We will get there.
That my friend made the comment.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We will get to that conversation.
We'll get there. You see, but I must honestly say that the way she is, she's level-headed. I think she would get the best possible team around her to work with, and not get swayed by individual in the industry wanting parochial interests sorted.
That's true.
Instead of the national one, because this industry is fond of that, So I will keep praying for Maame Efua.
Thank you.
She's a real lovely sister of mine, and I want her to
Actually
succeed.
brought it, so I would after the show.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you, Maame Efua.
Okay, thank you, Uncle Ken. 05511119997. Let me go to Francis Doku.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Dadzie. I think we have been here, a few times before. All the appointments will begin.
Doing our predictions.
Our predictions, looking at who will be this and who will be that. We mentioned some names, and all that. In fact, first for the ministry, then we came to the CEO,
agencies.
The agencies.
Okay.
I think we mentioned some names, but never did Maame Efua's name come up in our
Nobody.
conversations. So I think 2 days before the announcement will be made, somebody called me and said that this is the person you should look out for. This is the person.
You had the appointment, you didn't give it to me.
Oh, I gave it to your producer.
He sat on it.
The concern producer.
So I think 2 days later the announcement came. I mean, it was a bit surprising, and I've heard Maame Efua's name, but I hadn't come so close to her for us. No. So first thing I did was go on LinkedIn to check her profile, and I realized it was a very rich profile. Most of the political side is not on her LinkedIn, but the professional from Charterhouse to M Plaza and all that. So I saw that this was somebody who is an industry person, So even though it was surprising the name that came up, I think having seen her CV, I thought it wasn't surprising at all that the president, eventually decided that she was the one to lead the tourism side of the ministry. I mean, I think I wrote an article about she and Professor Kobe Mensah leading the tourism side of the ministry, because that's really a very important part in my view. I mean, all the 13 agencies are important, but in terms of projecting Ghana, out there, I think it is the GTA that stands,
the forerunner,
for us, and so it's a very important role. Also, on the side of what Ghana has been over the last 6 years, from when we launched the year of the return, and beyond the return, and all the things we've done. Even also considering the things that we've done in the past with PanaFest, with emancipation, with all the things that have sold this country very well, I think it's important that we have somebody who understands the space and will lead us even further. I think last week at the tourism mixer that was held, it was mentioned by Mr. Sampson that our tourism arrivals for 2024 was circa 1.2 million, thereabout.
Okay.
Which is, I think, an improvement on the 1.145 the previous year. It means that we've done well, but there's still, in my view, a lot for us to do, because 1.2 for a country like Ghana, gateway to Africa, I think it's very small, but it means that there's still much that we have to do. And the NDC mentioned in their manifesto that they want the Black Star experience to drive our tourism.
Exactly.
And that would mean that a lot will be done every month, And so as we go on with the conversation, we'll come to some of the things that we think that had to be done to. But the point has to be made that we have somebody who is an industry person. And congratulations to Maame Efua.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
But there's a lot that has to be done, and we need to talk about some of the things that need to be done to make sure that we project our country even further than we have been over the last 6 years.
Good one there, Francis Doku. Thank you so much for your comments. Now to Chief Moomin, who is poet and playwright. Chief.
And creative entrepreneur.
The Mansa Musa guy.
Mansa World.
Yes.
And creative entrepreneur.
Yes.
I love that one.
Let me start from the parochial note. Since Uncle Ken.
Hey,
Maame Efua,
I knew he was going to
that I
go
have
there.
a play at the National Theatre on the 15th. And so if Ghana Tourism Authority will buy some tickets, they are welcome to. But yes, good afternoon to all our listeners. Since we're in the season of appointment, let me say a very big congratulations to one of the young bright guys in the NDC, Mr. Fatah Mahama, who has just been appointed as an acting deputy director of TVET. I think that there's a lot of correlation between TVET and creative industry. We don't really think about it that way, but there's vocational, technical, there's a lot of correlation. And I think that we have to also begin to extend our tentacles beyond the traditional institutions like Ghana Tourism Authority to institutions like this to see how we can, improve the technical abilities of our creatives. And so congratulations to my good friend Fatah, and we look forward to his work. And congratulations too to Maame Efua. We're all in the studio, speculating about who could possibly go for that role. And we know that there are a number of people who are gunning for that particular position, including Uncle Ken. Uncle Ken, were you ever in? And so for those of us who are not close to the corridors of power, obviously when Maame Efua's name came up, we're like, okay, who is Maame Efua? And today, listening to her background, it looks like she's had extensive industry in the field, across multiple areas, from in the tourism and arts space. And we hope that such rich experience will come to bear. I find it surprising that Maame Efua was active as at the time Uncle Ken was in his heydays. It means she's been around for a very long time. And it doesn't show on her face. It means that you have to keep smiling. Yes.
But when I saw her, I thought she was Mankoiko.
Yes.
I was making a mistake.
Uncle Ken, you are still in your heydays in many ways. Yes. In your earlier heyday.
You want to eliminate Uncle Ken?
I am still thinking back at the insurance thing from last year. Uncle Chen has been perpetuating this, so no wonder there's no particular insurance for him.
To let you know.
Yes.
Such a lovely gentleman.
Yes.
Lovely gentleman. I mean, I remember those days there was a place, after work we could chill.
Oh.
And, he dropped me some martini with olives.
Uncle Ken.
And again, it's also a mixologist.
From the turntables back.
He's such a perfect gentleman. Lovely man.
Oh my God.
Some whiskey on rocks.
Maame Efua is making me blush.
You are blushing, eh?
I say that
mixologist.
Maame Efua is coming in at a time. And Francis talked about it. I think that the Ghana Tourism Authority is about the second in line to the most powerful institution when it comes to our tourism space after the ministry. I think that is the second most powerful, and she has come at a time where that particular institution has gotten a lot of visibility as well. I mean, due to the great work that her predecessor, has done in terms of Mr. Kosi Agyemang. So, the bar can only be taken higher for her, and so she's come at a time where there's great expectation, especially for those of us in the industry who are consistently restless to see the improvement of the tourism and art space, who understand that this is a space that can derive a lot of economic value for our country, and who have been consistently advocating that beyond our gold and cocoa, a low-hanging fruit is our tourism and art. And so, even though we congratulate her, it's an easy lies, the head that wears the crown. It's going to be a very tough and challenging period going forward, especially with the economic conditions.
Yeah.
But I know that with her, with her level-headedness, and her experience in the industry, she will be able to take the challenge in her stride, and we'll be here to support, whether through criticism, through direct collaborations, through parochial deals like buying tickets for our shows, whatever ways we all support, for the industry to grow, we will.
Thank you, Chief Woman.
Yes. Constructive.
Thank you.
Yes. That's what we do on this platform.
That's what we do.
That's what,
That's what we do.
Yes. I mean, it goes without saying.
Yes.
Especially when we have Uncle Ken here to keep us in check.
Exactly.
Yes.
Joy 99.7 FM. We have in the studio CEO of Ghana Tourism Authority, Maame Efua Houadjeto, having a conversation with her. Now let's get to the work. Mm-hmm. So, how was your first day at work like?
Well, my first day at work was interesting. When the announcement came, I called Mr. Kwesi Agyemang. It was only right to call him.
Well, you did.
I did. I called him, congratulated him for the good work he had done, told him that he had really, raised the bar. So I'll need whatever collaboration that he can give me, and I would love him to come and to come to the office with me. And he agreed. So I wasn't surprised when I got there, and he was there waiting for me to introduce me to the rest of the staff. So yes, it was an interesting day. I think the hype was really high, so everybody wanted to see me. Everybody was wondering who Maame Efua was. So I calmly, breezed through the place, met my management, met the staff, sat around for a while, asked a couple of questions. Then I came to work the following day, wanted to understand exactly what they had done before, what the roadmap was for this year, So anyway, I sat with my management, and we had a good conversation, and that was it. I've been at work since. It's an interesting place. I mean, it never ends. I mean, it's work
work and
all
fun
the time. I haven't experienced the fun yet.
How was the reception?
It was good, very warm, very nice.
Because I saw a photo of you and Kwesi Agyemang.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, they met.
Yes.
A beautiful one there. But does the whole Kwesi Agyemang performance and the plaudits he's received, do all these things put some pressure on you?
It certainly does. But the truth is that before Kwesi Agyemang came to GTA, nobody knew him.
Yeah.
He was a low-key person at Happy FM.
Right.
He had an affiliation with Global Alliance.
Media
Alliance.
Yeah.
And I knew him at the time.
Okay.
Because I'd done a job with him at Ghana at 50, So, yeah, I knew he was a quite unassuming man, until he came onto the seat. Also took a while to settle in, and he did the magic. And I think that his background in marketing and events really helped.
Right.
And I believe that I pray to God that I'm able to do same and even more because we have similar backgrounds.
All right, but so far, have you done any activities? I know you did a chocolate
yes,
week.
We did the chocolate week.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did it go?
It went very well, very well, very well. The whole idea was to, my role is to market Ghana.
Yeah.
And chocolate is one of our cocoa. Is one of our most prized products in Ghana. And of course, with the kind of cocoa we have, we certainly will have good chocolates. So it is also our mandate to promote some of our products. And I believe that our chocolate is one of the richest in the world because it has, I think, 40 to 45% cocoa in it, whilst other countries, their chocolate is 5%. I mean, the cocoa in their chocolate is 5%, 2.5%, and all of that. We have 40, 45% cocoa in our chocolate, and that is really rich. We also went ahead to advocate the health benefits, you know, that chocolate, the Ghana chocolate has, as opposed to other chocolates, you know. So I think it was a brilliant advocacy for us that week.
Okay, now, what is your general assessment of how our tourism industry has performed in the past year? Your general assessment
of how it has performed.
Of its performance, yes.
Performed, or as in the past?
Let's take a year under review.
Okay. I believe tourism is very key to our economy. And in other countries, in other worlds, I mean, tourism has made them who they are. Look at Dubai, look at South Africa, you know, even Singapore and what have you. So I believe that tourism is the key. Tourism is the deal. And we need to keep propagating what tourism means to Ghana, and we need to work towards, you know, making tourism stay number one as far as our economy is concerned.
Great. Have you identified any challenges faced by the tourism industry?
Well, what I have noticed is that my predecessor did very well and focused a lot on international tourism, you know, and I believe that it's important we also look at the domestic side of tourism and improve upon our tourism sites, and especially look at our ecotourism and also improve upon it. Today, it's important to talk about green everywhere, and one of the things that I want to champion is sustainable tourism. That is what I want to champion, because you see, what we have today, we should be able to preserve it for the future, and without sustainable tourism, we will destroy all of it. It will be just tourism today, and tomorrow there will be nothing, you know. So one of the things I really want to champion is sustainable tourism. I'm looking at our theme parks, as in our games, you know. I'm looking at our forests, rainforest areas. I'm looking at our waterfalls. I'm looking at all the beautiful natural things that we have and how we can maintain them, you know, and go green.
Black Star Experience is the headline program for the NDC, and it's in your manifesto. How is this going to help develop the tourism sector?
First of all, as an African country, the word Black Star means a lot to us. And I believe that the Black Star Experience simply means that every experience on our motherland here should be a good experience, and that should be the black experience, or the Black Star Experience. You know, a lot of people have asked me that what does it mean. I just believe that it's a banner we're going to use for almost everything that we're doing. We are not here to scrap any program that did well for us. We are not here to replace other programs. We are here to infuse all of it into what we need to do to generate the numbers. And I think that I'm going to do that.
By saying this, you mean you're not going to scrap beyond the return?
We are not. We're going to improve upon it.
Okay, so we understand the Black Star Experience is a year-long celebration. Every year you have something that you do. Are we looking forward to having a launch this year? Are we going to have some of the activities, you know, done this particular year?
I'm an agency, so my minister, Honorable Jifar Gomashi, will be the one to answer a question like that. I'm looking up to her to, to help us put a beautiful launch together for the Black Star experience. But it is in her domain. It won't be for me to say anything about it.
Good. So your domain is one out of three, the three major ones we have in the ministry: tourism, culture, creative arts. How do you intend to collaborate with the other two in doing your work?
Oh, we have we've started collaborating already. Where Kobe Mensa is GTDC.
Yeah.
We have started. We work together already.
Okay. All right.
So it will be easy for us to actually collaborate, because our work actually overlaps at some point.
True.
So it's important to understand each other and collaborate, support each other when necessary, so that at the end of the day we all, move tourism forward.
Good one. I had a message earlier on before I came into the studio. This is from Jonila, who is a tourism curator. He's more or less like an online content creator for tourism. And he says, I should ask you, he says, please ask your guests, what's the plan for us content creators? Why are they not considering partnerships with us? At least we travel on our own. All we need is some validation from them, so that as we travel around, we can enjoy some benefits like accommodation, permission to create, and fuel. It could be a partnership with a fuel company or something like that. This is something that Jonila sent to me earlier in the day. Yeah.
We collaborate with a lot of content creators or generators. A lot of you media houses, you also have some tourism events you do. Your sister station organizes tourism programs. They have this travel thing that they do around the country. This station also has some tourism events you do. So are other companies, similar companies, who come up with events. And when they come up and we think that it will help us, it will support our work, it will promote Ghana, we support them. So this person should come to us with his or her proposal.
Okay.
So far as the person is promoting Ghana, we'll do whatever it takes to support them.
I'm sure Jonila is worried because he is not in the traditional media. He's on new media. He's on TikTok, Facebook, IG, and most times you see him blog about tourist sites and all that. And he believes people like him don't really get access to some of these partnerships. So maybe, just as you've said, he should write a proposal and then submit it.
He doesn't belong to the traditional media, I understand.
Yeah.
But now social media is the age. So it's important that we recognize his area as well. So, and at the end of the day, he's promoting Ghana.
Yeah.
So he should come over so we talk.
Okay, Joy 99.7 FM, Showbiz A-Z. Today we have a conversation with the CEO of Ghana Tourism Authority, Maame Efua Houadjeto. If you have any questions for Maame Efua, our WhatsApp number is 05511119997. You can just send in yours. We have also in the studio Uncle Ken. We have Francis Doku, Chief Woman. Gideon Asare, a CEO of Adanse Travels. He's in Malaysia, but he's joined us on Zoom. Now, let me invite my panel members to maybe ask questions as we move on. We have a lot to talk about today, so we're having a good ride from now to 6 p.m. Let me start with Uncle Ken. Any question for Maame Efua?
Hey, Kwame, I have plenty.
I have plenty. Uncle Ken, let's hear you.
Maame Efua, welcome to the agency.
Thank you so much, Uncle Ken.
Even though you are an authority.
Thank you very much.
So you have some leeway to make certain, rules and regulations yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have a board as we speak in place?
Well, for now we don't. My government, which is the president, is now putting in place boards. So what it is that he appoints all CEOs, appoints deputy. So we are all in acting positions.
Okay.
So I'm the acting CEO until I have a board. So until I have a board, I'm not a substantive CEO. I'm an acting CEO.
Okay.
So then the board will confirm your
So
appointment.
the board. So that's how it works.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
the board confirms your appointment.
Okay.
I was coming to say
Okay.
why I posed that question. By the GTA law, board members have a tenure of 3 years. And that surprised me because I said to myself, the president appoints the board members. The president appoints the CEO of the authority. And yet the law stipulates that the board members' tenure of office is 3 years, which means that if a president comes into office, like President Mahama is in office now, he has a tenure of 4 years. But the board that he puts in place, tenure of office is 3 years, which means before his tenure ends, those board members' tenure will also have ended. And I find that confusing. Francis, you get what I'm saying?
Yes,
I
yeah.
find that very confusing. That's why I posed the question to Maame Efua whether there's a board in place.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the board's term is coterminous with that of the government?
Even before the government's term ends,
Yeah.
that board should be out of place because they have a tenure of 3 years. And that board is also, members of that board are also appointed by the president. Do you get
Yes,
my issue?
yeah, yeah.
They're
Sure.
also appointed-
But that's across, right? That's not necessarily just
Not
for
just this-
okay.
this government. I mean, that's
No,
the
I
law.
mean
No,
like
but the
all
GTA
other
the
orga-
GTA law.
That's
The
3
l-
years.
That the law stipulates that members of the board have a tenure of 3 years.
Yeah.
So I was worried, and I said to myself, Maame Efua is coming into a job that does not have a board, and the CEO can only reasonably act by the orders of the board. So I asked myself, how is she going to operate if there is no board as we speak? And like she has said herself, that's why maybe she's in an acting position. My reason for raising this issue is the fact that I think that 3-year duration of tenure of office should be changed to 4, to be as others are.
Yeah.
That if the president who appointed you leaves office, then your term ends. But if you have to leave office before the president's term ends, it poses an issue. You talked about the Black Star experience. Okay? The same law. Article 18 of the law. Annual budget of the authority states that the authority shall not later than 3 months before the end of each financial year cause to be prepared and submitted to the minister an annual budget in respect of the ensuing financial year. It says the authority, now that authority cannot act on its own. It has to act with the board, on authority of the board. Maybe you haven't listened, but let me finish my issue.
Okay.
And my issue is, if that board is not in place, how can the authority prepare an annual long budget? So I'm saying that 3 months before the end of a financial year, the authority is supposed to prepare an annual budget for the ensuing year. It means that by this article, Mr. Kwesi Agyeman's administration have, as we speak, prepared an annual budget for the ensuing year. You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Because they were supposed to do it 3 months before the end of the financial year. And if they have, and you bring about the issue of the Black Star experience, which is supposed to be a monthly thing and all that, did he include that in his last annual budget?
You mean Kwesi Agyeman?
Yes.
Because they were also hopeful that they will win the election.
Exactly. So
And the Black Star experience is not their program or initiative.
Their thing.
Yeah.
So I am trying to raise an issue with the law that is going to incapacitate her, even if they are ready to do that. Unless, of course.
Okay, but I think, I think public corporations may work differently because the agency is under a ministry, and there's a minister who is responsible for the agency. Now, there's a new government which is developing its budgets, which will be presented by the finance minister, next month.
That's next month.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe that those budgets, those costs that are related to each ministry will be represented in that budget. And so if the board comes, they only may be clarifying or confirming what have been allocated to them. Because mind you, you can't also do a budget that will not be taken by the finance minister. Okay. If it's a private corporation, these things are, in my view, how they work. But you have a minister who will say that, listen, this is the budget that we have for tourism, and you must use it as it is. The other side would be, what are you generating internally to support your budget if it exceeds what we have provided for you in the national budget? So I think the dynamics will not work all the time in the political space.
I am only saying that we need to take a look at the law again.
So that
Because
we
if
change
the law,
year.
and it says shall, and shall is mandatory.
Yeah.
Ken Kwebu.
Because
Chief,
is it
Chief,
because
it says shall.
Yeah.
It says that board, the authority, at that time, 3 months before the end of a financial, I don't know, maybe.
But
hold
hold
on.
on.
Will change all that.
Yes.
I mean, I think the law may be there, but if there's an election and a new government comes,
But not really. Don, but
It
let's
will-
avert our minds to the fact that there are some statutory expenses that every government institution would make. Payment of salaries, acquisition of goods and services,
yeah.
and all of that. So the generic budget is always developed. So right now the budget it could have been developed by Kwesi Agyeman's, administration.
Yeah.
Obviously now the ministry is actually putting together all of the budgets.
Exactly.
To present, to the finance ministry.
yeah.
The finance ministry will the government's cabinet to okay it, and then it is presented by the Minister of
Sure.
Finance. So
That's the
there's
point I was
an
making.
expense budget that you have, and then when you come into office, then you can decide to see where to manipulate, where to redirect funds, because there's always an opportunity for discretion in terms of what your project and program is.
Chief,
Yes.
you are right. Maybe what I am saying does not hold any water,
Yes.
because I have not been able to define the end of a financial year.
Okay.
Maybe.
maybe.
I have not been able
the
to
ministry.
define
Yeah.
the end
the
of a
government's
financial year.
and
I'm
the
just looking at the law.
So until we get somebody from the finance ministry,
and
yeah.
we can define the end of a financial year.
For all you know, GT's financial year maybe
Exactly.
April to March
Exactly.
Thank you.
or something.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Because even when they reach the
Thank you.
budget, there's appropriations. Then they have
Yes.
to go back to government.
And you can have a supplementary budget
Yeah, budget and all of that.
as well. So
I don't think that Maame
I'm only
Efua will
raising
be-
it because I saw it in the law.
will be-
Okay.
And I thought that if board
We're going to go
members,
strictly according
yes,
to
if
the
board
law.
members only have a 3-year tenure,
Okay.
Yeah.
it causes a problem for any incoming new. If it was an old government, it might not, if the same government from before,
Yeah.
it might not have been
And
a problem.
It continues.
And I
It
also
continues.
think maybe we should speak to some of the people who have worked in the authority and see how they go about that. So maybe we.
No, I only want to raise it for Maame Efua.
No, I understand.
If she has
I understand.
I think she said she has something to say.
Yes.
Yes.
I think
Moment.
Kindly, kindly note all the questions, Mame. Kindly note all the questions. We come to you, so you answer. But Uncle Ken, if you're not done, let me go to Malaysia because
go to
Gideon
Malaysia.
wants to run away from us, and then let me go to Gideon and then take his questions
Go to
or final
Malaysia.
remarks
Now, let
before
me finish
he takes
mine.
leave of us. Gideon.
Kwame,
Yes, you have any question or your final remarks to Maame Efua?
Okay. So, I would say she's still in the honeymoon space. So, we will not want to bother too much with the questions because I'm very sure she's still abreasting herself with the current situation at GTA.
Oh, that's true.
But just a few points to that maybe as she's prioritizing some of the challenges she could also look at as a practitioner, because my perspective might be a bit different from the rest. So, so one of the key areas before the former president announced visa free for the other African countries, which is one of the best initiative when it comes to access to our country for tourism. But if you look at the statistics of our tourism arrivals, you realize that the first position is United States, followed by Nigeria, the UK, and Germany. So if you take the first four, it's only Nigeria which was already benefiting from the ECOWAS pass. So it means that as much as such initiatives are good, we need to expand the reach to our source market. And this source market, which brings us the money as a country, especially the first three being US, UK, and US by extension, Canada also, and UK, and Germany, and other European countries. I know before the other administration, Mr. Ajman left, my personal interaction with him told me the GTA, in consultation with the Ministry of Interior and others, were working on e-visa. So I wanted her to, if she doesn't have the update now, look at it as a very critical part of inbound tourism, access to the country. Because when you are planning a trip, one of the main headaches is visa. And currently, our visa system is not the best in terms of the source countries that we go and market. We spend so much money going for travel market in London, going to RTV in Berlin to promote Ghana. But these people find it difficult to come. When our competitors like Kenya, Rwanda are making it easy for people to secure the visa, then no matter how much you invest in attractions here, they are not going to come because they don't want just stress. So if they can speed up the e-visa system, which I know the project had already kicked off, and even pilot with some of these key countries, I'm sure that it will be one of the boosts for the tourist arrivals in Ghana. My second area I was happy she mentioned about the domestic tourism, which from my agency point of view, Adanza Travels, we do a lot in terms of that, and we've seen the potential is we've not even scratched the surface. Most of the agencies are not interested in domestic tourism because it doesn't yield much, and there had been a lot of talk from GT about domestic tourism, especially after the COVID, when we realized that tourist arrivals went down and we need to move the people in Ghana around. But I think there's still room for improvement in that space, especially creating products that can easily be sold. So in the area of domestic tourism, one of the key challenges has been the cost associated with the products. And so if he can work with the hotels and other suppliers in the industry to streamline the costs and work with operators in the industry to ensure that we'll be able to churn out more packages affordable for Ghanaians to move around, to go to the north, people in the north to come down south, go to Volta, people in Volta to also come to experience Accra. So, and it's a lot. It's a big market, and it's also value chain is very huge in terms of people who get benefit from that. So I'm happy it's part of her plans, and so as practitioners, we'll be willing and happy to abreast her with the current situation. Some of us came into the industry not too long like they are, but we are abreast with the current issues, and so we'll be able to share with her those issues. And so, understanding on that, I would say more stakeholder engagements will be very crucial for her work, especially those on the ground, getting us. And whenever we have a stakeholder engagement, it shouldn't end on a paper, because in the past we've had stakeholder engagement where beautiful ideas were shared, but no implementation, and it makes it difficult when you are called to come again, because time is money, and you want to make sure your time is valued. And so, if you make any stakeholder engagement, make sure that it comes with action plans and being implemented, so that we can all support to ensure that tourism success means a lot for the entire country, because it affects every aspect of economy, employment, the exchange rate. It affects everywhere. So whatever she does, and when she's successful, it translates into the pockets of many. And so we'll be willing to support her tenure and ensure that the work that was done by her predecessors, she can also add her dimension to its women dimension, and her rich experience in the industry, coupled with the new era that we find ourselves now. There's technology that has come. AI is evolving, and I'm very sure that if she keep her mind on all those fields in terms of how technology can enhance operations, enhance customer acquisition, enhance the customer experience, I'm sure that her era will be interesting to watch. We will have a lot of arrivals and also people around to boost the economy.
Thank you very much, Gideon Asare, CEO of Adansi Travels. Thanks so much for your inputs. Now we can come back into the studio and then ask. Okay, Uncle Ken, I would want Maame Efua to answer the first question you asked, and then questions that are the points made by Gideon. So Gideon made a point about e-visa, domestic tourism not yielding results, and also stakeholder engagement. I don't know if you have anything to say to that. Then you tie it into Uncle Ken's first submission. Then we take your second question, Uncle Ken. We have some more time to kill here. All right? Okay.
Before I realize
we have 1 hour more.
It means Francis has too many.
Oh, I know. Okay, so Maame, talking about all the things that Gideon mentioned, do you have anything to say to them?
I agree with Gideon.
Okay.
I believe that we as I speak to you right now, we have over 4,000 people at the conference center.
All right.
Who are in Ghana for a meeting. So it's MICE.
Yeah.
We're promoting MICE. And a few of them. MICE. As I speak to you now, we have over 4,000 people at the conference center. They came for a meeting called V-Africa, and these people are in town right now. So it means that for me, one of my objectives is to promote MICE. MICE is meetings, incentives, conference, and events. And if you have numbers like this in this country, it means hotels are full, transportation is working, restaurants are full, so the economy, the economy, how do you say it? The economy is very, very active.
Yeah.
And that is how we contribute to the economy. And like he said, if some of these people coming into the country had issues with visas, it means that it will be difficult for them to come the next time. Whilst GTA, in collaboration with the organizers, is asking the original, those who brought them, the event holders, that they should come again. So we are talking to them so they come again, so we can, have these numbers and more. So we will we are trying. This is a conversation I'll have to have with my sector minister, So my sector minister is also a seasoned person in the industry. She understands tourism very well. She's an art and creative person, and certainly she understands our issues. So I will go back to her with some of these issues, and we sit down as women and see how we can
power.
Yes, we can make a difference.
I love that.
And like Uncle Ken said, I think that Moro, is it Moro?
Chief
Chief
Moomin.
Chief Moomin, okay.
Yeah.
I
The
think
only chief we have on the
yes,
show.
I think Chief answered my question. You know, even
he
though
said
we
so.
do not have a board, at the moment we report to the sector minister. So whatever we want to do, whatever activities that are on our table, we go to the sector minister to have a conversation with her. Like Chief said, we put our budgets together, we give it to our ministry gives to the finance ministry, gives to the president, especially when the president in the next few days is going to read his SONA, you know. So, yes, yes, at the moment, the ministry is the authority over us, and we are working. We are not waiting for a board before we work, because our minister is a very progressive woman.
Yeah.
We go to her with all our action plan, and with her blessing, we get the work done. Thank you.
Thank you, Maame Efua. Uncle Ken, second question before I move to Uncle Francis Doku.
Just before my second question, Maame Efua's ending statement that they can work even without a board.
Because of the sector.
I have
Because of
an
the sector
issue.
ministry.
I have an issue with that, because going by the law, whatever decision you take has to be in consonance with the board's, agreement. And now the law says that a year before the end of 4 years, that board is not in existence. So it means that I'm wondering, I don't know, did Mr. Kwesi Agyeman have a board in his last year?
The GTA has boards always.
Yes.
No,
We always-
law.
They're always.
No, the law states that the board's tenure of office is 3 years.
I think it's
But
just
it doesn't
before
mean-
election,
So,
Yeah.
so I'm asking.
It means 3 years.
Yeah.
You have another board.
Yes. So was there another board in place?
There should be.
Yes, and if there is another board in place,
Yes.
as we speak,
Yes.
they have a tenure of office of 3 years.
3 years. Yes.
So those board members should not be taken off their duties.
We've not heard anything of the sort yet.
But
No, the boards are now being constituted.
yes, the boards are.
No, but with
Thank
what
you,
he's
Chief.
saying, if they have 3 year, a 3 year mandate,
Yes.
Yeah.
then it means that probably a year before.
It states not more.
But
than
it's about
3 years.
appointing authority, right? So it may not be practical to act an outgoing
Since we're all
president.
assuming, I
Yes.
think we should do our background check so we
It's
tackle
a very
that.
serious
Yeah,
problem for me.
So we don't we
It's
don't
a very
conjecture.
serious problem
Okay,
for me.
there's
Okay.
a constitutional review committee now that is in place.
They should
so-
take it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because to me it
So
doesn't make
this
sense.
is so Prof
You know,
H. Kwesi Prempeh.
If you tell me there's a board in existence as we speak,
No, there's no.
Uncle
board.
Ken, I think
no
we
board.
should not hazard any guess as of now. Let's
that's what I said,
let's leave that.
constitutional
Let's do our checks and then we come back with the findings. Thank you very
now
much.
when I make the point about the tenure of office of board members,
Yeah.
that does not apply to the CEO.
Yeah.
The CEO's tenure of office is stipulated in her letter of appointment. Hello, I'm lying.
Sure.
Maame Efua, you are here. So answer me. Hello, I'm lying. As for the CEO's tenure of office, we don't know unless she discloses that to us, because according to the law, that is stipulated in the letter of appointment from the president. So as for the CEO, she's covered. She doesn't have a problem. I don't want you to disclose to us your tenure of office. I'm not going to force you to, unless you want to voluntarily tell us your tenure of office. Outside that, the law also states something, Francis, I have never known until I went into the law, that the authority is mandated and it shall have offices in all regions and districts. Does the GTA have offices in all regions and districts?
All
of
the
this
16 regions.
Yeah.
We have offices.
I
there.
think
You
so.
have offices.
Yeah.
And districts?
Not yet. We're talking. We're
Maybe not
working
all
on
the
it. But
Yeah.
for now,
Okay.
for now, all the regions we have regional offices all.
But that's what the law states.
Yeah.
Now,
But the law must also know that must come with resources.
with resources,
course.
yes,
No.
Francis,
So
that is my
it's a step
issue.
at a time.
Yeah.
It's
Francis,
a step
that is
at
my,
a time.
this law. Hey, a step at a time.
So there's
this
no
law
Uncle
is
Ken,
20.
there's always
Okay, we just
Uncle
came
Ken,
to
so-
power.
No,
We are not
Uncle
even
Ken,
2
The
months
law
old.
is in existence. Has been in
Uncle
We
Ken.
existence
just came
before
into
you.
power. We are
Uncle
not
Ken,
even
so
2
your second
months old,
question.
so-
The law has been in existence before your appointment.
Yes.
Law 2017. Oh.
Yes.
So
Uncle
Uncle Ken's
Ken.
point is not in regards to
To
Not
this-
in
okay.
regards
But
to you,
to the
cry.
GTA
Hey,
Uncle Ken, so please,
Yes.
have you asked your
how
second
can I
question
have
yet?
a problem with you? It's the GTA.
Uncle Ken, have you asked your second question
No,
yet?
I just asked.
Okay.
Do they have offices?
Okay, that is the second question. Okay, that's
in
fine.
the districts.
Okay.
And Francis and Maame Efua have both answered and said
Yes,
All right.
we do. We do
All right.
have offices.
in the regions, but not in all the districts.
Okay.
Or maybe not in the district.
Beautiful.
Now I'm asking,
Okay.
is it important to have offices in the districts as the law mandates?
I think that's something. That's something we can
Francis,
chew on
you
later.
will be best to answer. And you mentioned resources.
Yes.
How are we going to have resources to have offices in all these places?
I think there must be a way that a center works with the district assemblies.
Thank you.
To be able to create, if not an office.
And I think that's one of the things that the NDC has stated they will be doing in their manifesto.
Yeah, which
The
has to be
assemblies,
done,
yeah.
honestly, because Uncle
Yeah.
Ken, sometimes the local communities do not identify so much with the plans that we have
Thank
from
you.
the center because they feel that
Oh.
the national is coming to dictate to them what they should do. But if there's collaboration and they understand what tourism means to them in the local area, and they have an office or a desk that they could go to, I think it would work. So
Okay.
maybe it's in the spirit of that the framers of the law said we should have offices in the districts.
And the regions.
And the regions. I mentioned here the last time that
Yeah.
the Eastern Regional Minister, when she came to the vetting, she mentioned how she was going to work with the district assemblies within her region to
Yeah.
improve tourism.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
believe that Maame Efua's office would have to find a way
Exactly.
to engage in
To
that
liaise
area.
with
Because it's
that.
going to cost them
So
too
that
much money.
it doesn't become her costs
Exactly.
necessarily. You know,
That's the
but that
point I'm trying
the
to make.
collaboration would help for it to
Every
happen.
point I'm raising
Yeah.
is to help my sister
Exactly. Exactly.
achieve what she intends to achieve in her role.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Because the law should not prohibit her.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the point I
That's
was
a,
going to
yeah,
make, that
these are good points.
the law may be there, but we have to work. Like I've come into an office, I have to work. I don't have a board, but I have to work.
You have to
know.
work.
The law
Yes.
must not prevent me
From
I must
working.
Make sure that make sure that I'm doing it according to how things ought to be done.
Some antichrist will try to use that
Yeah.
against her.
That's true.
All right, Joe 99.7 FM Showbiz A to Z. We're having a conversation with the CEO of Ghana Tourism Authority. Some of your thoughts right here. This one says, congratulations, Maame Efua. Good to hear you. Lots of love from Marian. Okay. Congratulations again. This one from, okay, so Maame Efua, since you are close to your alumni, Unimac, IG, says, I hope you will come and tour the various campuses and help. Amma from Accra says, I know when boards and councils are created, you will be on Unimac, IG Council. We love you. Okay, same person says. So somebody is writing to you from Unimac. All right, John 99.7 FM. Let me come to you, Francis Doku. I know you have about 10 questions.
It's 8.
Hey! Oh, you make it 20.
So, Mami, thanks so much. But let me start with, and I'm happy that I was going to ask Maame Efua what her personal appetite for mice is.
Okay.
You know, and then she mentioned that
Yeah.
it's something that she's interested in seeing.
Started working on it.
You know, I think we need to have a very good strategy around mice.
Yeah.
Because let me read something that I wrote about a couple of months ago in
Okay.
my column in Graphic, that the potential economic benefits of mice tourism for Ghana are staggering. The global mice industry was valued at 598.2 billion in 2022, and it is estimated to reach 2.3 trillion by 2032. And in Africa, MICE industry valued at around 16.6 billion in 2023 and projected to reach 65.6 billion by 2032. And some countries, if you take Rwanda, for instance, have positioned themselves to take almost all MICE activities. Cape Town is a central hub for MICE. The Northern African countries, even Eastern Africa, Kenya, and all those places, Botswana, all of them, they've positioned themselves that they take the big MICE, projects. I think it's an opportunity for us also to put ourselves in that space. Unfortunately, and I've lamented about this for so long, we do not have a very recognized international convention center. And that's a very basic way that people see that you are serious to compete in the MICE space. So it's something, but that also will not prevent us, because we have some of the big hotels and other places where we can do small MICE events. But if we're going to be serious in competing, I think there's a need for Maame Efua and the minister especially to make the case that all the things we've spoken about, convention center, should be implemented. I think there was some conversation the last time I was here about a convention center that is being built at a trade fair site. And there's a lot that went in. Kwame, you remember when Mark was here and mentioned that they were working on a convention center and all that.
The 20,000 capacity.
And that they're prefab and they were moving the things and all that. We need to know where that is, because you're not going to be taken serious as a MICE destination if at least you don't have one recognized international convention center, and we need to play around that. So I'm happy that she says that her interest is in that area, because there's a lot to be gained as a destination for that. But we need to position ourselves and be recognized as a serious MICE destination. Second is what Gideon mentioned about the visa. I mean, 18 December to be precise, there was an announcement that Ghana now offers free visa to all Africa countries, citizens of holding ordinary passports from all African countries. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened, because the instrument that is supposed to have been laid for that to take effect was not done. So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs didn't do that. I think it's important, if we are interested in doing offering visa free, and I believe it's important really, because around our continent we need people to travel in, and also for us to, when we travel out there, it helps. When Kenya started to introduce their ETA, most Ghanaians were lucky that we had previously had a visa-free agreement with Kenya. So even as other countries had to pay about $58 when they scrap visas and you had to just fill it, Ghanaians were not paying, because we had that already with them. Nigerians were crying. They always cry, especially when South Africa and Ghana agreed on a free visa also. They were like, why not us? Kind of thing. So it's important that we position ourselves also as a country that led Africa to independence. We are supposed to be the one that says that, listen, everybody who wants to come to Ghana, come to Ghana. And I think that was what the last government wanted to do. But unfortunately, time, I believe, ran out, so they couldn't. So I think it's important that we look at it again. If within this short time we can resurrect that, to be important. I think another question that I want to, this will be a question to Madam.
Okay.
What is the target for arrivals by the time that your tenure ends? Currently, we're doing about 1.2.
Okay.
Do we see ourselves reaching, say, 2 million or 1.5 or a certain time, because of the things that we'll be doing to ensure that we bring, people into our destination? Because the more people come, the more they spend. She mentioned also how we want to she'll look at how to improve domestic tourism. I think that's a very important thing to do. The issue around that, among other things, is how people complain about the cost of hotels. I don't know how the CEO of GTA would engage the hotel association and look at how to, improve. So that if tour operators have some level of, huge discount that they can pass on to their people who travel in the country, I believe that will help to also improve it, because people don't travel unless there's a funeral or they have to travel for something and all that. But taking your children and your family to, say, Kofodia or Takrady or Volta, it's very expensive, especially in the area of hotels. So if something could be done around that, I believe that would help. One more, Kwame.
Okay. Oh, you said 8. You've
I
done
said
just
8.
2.
I was saying that I was thinking you were going to catch me. I think also something that we need to look at from the GTA perspective, and maybe I believe this would have to be in tandem or in partnership with the GTDC, has to be our tourist attractions, especially the heritage ones, the forts and castles. I mean, everybody knows that Ghana has more forts and castles than any other country in Africa. I mean, European forts and castles. We have 3 castles and about 24 so forts across the country. But most of these forts and castles are in very bad shape. You know, some of them are UNESCO heritage sites like the Elmina and Cape Coast Castle. I was at Fort Princeton in December, and it is terrible, Kwame. It's dilapidated, and so it is in other places. There was the tour guide who is not even an official tour guide. He's there, and when you go, he takes you around. Mentioned that there were some plans to refurbish it, but they haven't. It's in a very sorry state. I think there is a need to look at how to bring it up to a level where people go and they get the benefits. It preserves the history, I believe, for which it was built. So Ghana position itself as a heritage destination, which is what we've been for a long time. Culture and heritage means that the things that would draw people in, we need to improve on them. I think some of them are outside of Madam's direct purview, but she's responsible for marketing them, and so I believe that it would be good if she finds a way to talk to the Museums and Monuments Authority, the Tourism Development Company, and all of them to see how to improve those things. Because I believe if we did that, it would help both our domestic efforts and also our... Because when I was at Fort Princeton, even though in the state it is, I saw a lot of buses, some of them coming from Kumasi and all that, school children to come and see. Yeah, Fort Princeton in Keta. It was one of the key forts where the slaves from Benin and Togo and all that passed through before they went into the New World. But it's totally broken down. And these are students, about 6 buses that I saw. They'll come there and be disappointed, So if we can look at improving some of those things, you go to Elmina today, you'll be so disappointed in the state it is, and all that. So we need to improve on that. And the last one, Kwame, I mentioned the last time, right?
You're still on last.
Last but one.
Okay.
One area that I think we also should look at, even as we look at the new ways that we can market our destination, is what they call the blue economy, or the sea along the coast. I mean, we have a very beautiful long coast, but we haven't properly developed in terms of tourism around those places. If, for instance, you go to the western region, the eastern region, the Volta region now, the southern Volta.
All right.
There's not much you can do beyond just going to the dilapidated Fort Princeton, standing and looking at the Keta Lagoon, or going to the Atoko slave market, or the lighthouse at Woy. Those are only the things you do. But you have a vast sea that nothing happens on. I mean, if you compare that to other places that we've been to, like Mombasa in Kenya, like Seychelles, like some of the places that have beaches where you can do snorkeling, you can do deep diving, you can just go and experience beach. I think we need to look at how we can, if people travel to places they can enjoy. Last, I was in Cape Coast, and I was speaking with somebody who owns a hotel, and he was asking, what can we do to make sure that people travel to Cape Coast, not just on one-off basis, because when they come, they either visiting their children in school or coming to the castle, and that's it. There's no experience or anything else. Even though they have a beach, they have sea and everything, nothing else happens beyond that. I think it's important that we look at how to improve our beach, tourism, as much as we focus on other areas as possible. And finally,
this one is last,
She mentioned ecotourism.
Okay.
And I think it's a very important one. We were here in this studio and we spoke about how Galamsey, for instance, is deteriorating the water bodies, and all that. I am happy that there seems to be some action in trying to
to stop some of the things that are happening. Hopefully, it ends well. But even if it doesn't, we still have to look at how to improve our ecotourism, because people would come here and make sure that they enjoy the natural things we have. She mentioned, for instance, the waterfalls. Recently, I was told that, if anybody has been to the Vili waterfalls in around Hohoe, anybody has been there before?
No,
You have.
not me.
You see the walk from where the center is. You walk about 45 minutes through forest and all that to the place. I understand that people are cutting the trees, and this is supposed to be something that adds to the experience.
Yeah.
But they
walk through the woods.
To walk through the woods, there are streams and some water bodies along the way. I understand there's some devastation happening there because somebody owns that part of the land and thinks that that. So maybe if there was some, that's when Uncle Ken district thing, I was saying that if there was some collaboration and the person knows that they will benefit, they'll get some money from the tourism activities that take place there, they would probably not cut, or use the land for something else, because it's all part of the experience. If you take that away, it becomes bare. You just have to drive to the waterfall side. So we need to find ways to preserve some of these things, and make sure that they help drive tourism as much as possible. It's a tall order, but it is doable, and I believe that Madam is in the space to do that. So these are some of the things that I think. But for me, it's about a target. What is the number that we want
the arrivals
to reach in, say, maybe 3 years, in 4 years?
Okay. Thank you very much, Francis Doku. Before I come to you, Maame Efua, this one from Luther Adenta. And Luther says, I work in the tourism industry, particularly in mice. I love the interest shown by Maame Efua in this sector of the industry, but the point Gideon made about the high cost of local supplies is very valid. It is surprising to note that at times hotels are even cheaper in Dubai than in Ghana. What is she going to do about it? I wish her all the best. Okay, so maybe you can tie in this question into Francis Doku's submissions and questions. Thank you.
Right, okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think that in Gideon's question, he also mentioned about the high cost of hotel accommodation, especially if I'm going to look at domestic tourism. So it ties in with Luther's as well. Yeah, I think that it's important and it's high time. And this is with the permission of my sector minister, because I've now sent my proposal to her, that I would like to focus on solar. It's important we make solar a core part of our industry. And the reason is that we have the free sun, I know that the initial cost of solar is quite expensive, but once we're able to encourage all the hotels, to alternate, have alternative energy, it will help with the cost of the hotel, because their running cost is quite high. Their electricity costs, their water, So once we encourage all of them to go solar, it will bring their running cost down, and certainly the cost of the rooms would also come down. So it's one advocate that I'm really, really going to champion, and I would also use your medium to tell the industry that it is time that we invest in solar, and it is time that we go green and solar. It's very important, very, very important. That's what I want to look at.
Okay.
The other questions, I wasn't noting it down.
Okay, so I was asking about the target for arrivals.
The arrivals, the target.
Yeah. So it was 1.1 million and now it is 1.2 million. And I believe that will certainly increase the numbers
to 5 million.
I wouldn't want to sit here and give you a number.
Are you going to do 5 million?
Gideon will cast my head next year. I said, you promised, you said this, So we're certainly going to do better.
Yeah.
I want to promise him that every year we shall increase it. So by the time we are done with our tenure, would have, I really, really appreciate that appreciated the numbers. You know, so it's a promise I'm making to him.
Yeah.
We shall work. We shall do whatever it takes to make sure that we increase the numbers. You know.
I think Francis also mentioned the blue economy. You know,
Yes, the blue economy is also very,
beach
very
front.
important. You know, we have beautiful beaches, and I think that NDC in 2016 started this Marine Drive thing. And 2016, 2017, MPP came. They also have, you know, done a bit of engineering and all of that, and we have come back. So we are going to start this Marine Drive program, and we believe that this time round, you know, all the teething problems has been taken care of. All the, you know, the little, you know, whenever you're starting something, you have problems. So we believe that we can actually take off from here.
Okay.
Once we do this, the other settlers along the sea would be encouraged and willing to let us also explore that side. But in the time being, we are going to encourage investors and the private sector to introduce other forms of transportation along the beach, so that, you know, we can travel a lot. So we can travel from, say, Accra to the Volta region, you know, on a speedboat or on, you know, that kind of thing.
That should happen.
So if we can travel, you know, on a speedboat from Accra to Volta region, and it's also cut down on the carbon. You know, so I think it's something that we need to look
to
at.
Cape Coast, you know.
Yeah.
From Accra to Cape Coast,
Yeah.
you know, on speedboats. And I this is something that my minister and I will look at, and we'll see how best we can start
Great.
a program like that.
And then the forts that are in bad shape. Have you tackled that already?
Yes,
Not
yes,
yet.
yes. I think that if we're going to champion domestic tourism, it's important that we help lift the states in
True.
which some of the tourist sites are in right now. If you look at the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, because it's been given a facelift, I mean, the numbers there are very, very interesting compared to what it was before.
Yeah.
And so are other places. So yes, we're going to make sure that we give some kind of facelift to a lot of the industries or a lot of the sites, you know, so that we can have more visitors coming there. We'll give it a facelift and still preserve what we have there.
Joy 99.7
Mami,
FM.
Can I mention something? Somebody just sent to
Okay,
me
you can do
that
that.
a CEO can take this. Uncle Ken, this is in the CEO can take decisions with the approval of the minister.
Yeah.
When the board is eventually appointed, the CEO will go to the board to ratify her decisions.
And if the board doesn't want that,
It's ratification.
ratification.
So the point just to say that the CEO should be restricted because
Because
there's
there's
no
no board.
in
Okay.
place.
in place.
Okay.
Should make
Okay.
the decisions, but go and justify so that it
To the
is
minister.
ratified.
So,
Yeah.
Francis, then that leads me to another question. Do we think it is important,
Yeah.
To have
looking
the
at
board.
all these issues, that it is the president who appoints members of that board and even the CEO in the tourism sector?
This is a very big topic.
And this is a topic that
Uncle Ken,
I have a very strong...
This kind of governance topic there.
This is a topic that I have a very strong view about, but not just for tourism, just across
All board.
Across board.
you know.
Please, if you have any question,
My
okay,
view
you
is that
finish.
The president should appoint the minister. The minister appoints a board.
Okay.
The board appoints the CEO.
The
Exactly.
CEO. Okay.
Finito. But that, it won't work like that, you know. I mean,
Oh, but that's what it should be like. Maame Efua will come and spend all her energies to creating things in 4 years, and if it so happens that her party loses office, she's whisked away
and she's gone.
and she's gone. I don't think it's fair
Well,
for
Well,
the industry.
before I bring in Chief Woman, if you have any question for Maame Efua Houadjeto, CEO of Ghana Tourism Authority, 05511119997. Number, Chief Woman, shoot.
Yes, we'll start from the bigger picture and then come down. Oh, Ade. Uncle Ken.
On a parochial note.
Uncle Ken Pebu. You know, and it's a familiar topic on this platform. There's a glass ceiling that Maame Efua or even our honorable minister cannot go beyond if there isn't what I would say a feverish national agenda for tourism and art, straight from the presidency to cabinet down to everyone, right? If it's just that the cabinet, the minister is the one advocating for tourism, and the entire government machinery is not aligned, there's just a glass ceiling they can't go beyond, even if they are the best administrators, even if they have the best ideas. Because really, some of the decisions that will turn the needle of our tourism doesn't lie in them alone. It lies in a government saying that this is our agenda. Because number one is infrastructure. We talk about MICE. There's just a certain limit we can never go beyond if we do not have that infrastructure that can host certain caliber of events. So we always go for those small conferences here and there, but the big events that the likes of the Rwanda and the likes of the South Africa, Cape Town, the Indabes that they are doing, we will not get them. And some of these ones are where the big money actually is, So that's just my point. If there is that feverish national agenda, then our people in the sector will try their best, but the transformation will not be as transformative, if I would use that word, as we want, right? And it's not just about infrastructure, it's even about how at the local level. Imagine if at the local level, the assemblies themselves took their tourism very seriously to ensure that their sites are themselves, there's investment going to their site from their, assembly common fund or sourcing funding. I mean, there's a place you go to, some tourism site, and even common washroom is a problem. Yeah. I know that GTA in the past couple of years, they've tried to address that, but it's still a major problem. So if we have a country that is serious on tourism and washroom is still a problem in many of our tourism sites, it means that, yes, there may be seriousness at some level, but that seriousness does not cut across. But if there is that agenda, from cabinet, and there's a cabinet meeting and the local government minister is told that, look, ensure that all the local governments have taken this very seriously, there's, monitoring in evaluation, then the people own it. There's a transportation element to it that will come down to the transport ministry. We talk about the cost. There's just a general thing about the economy that if our cost is not competitive, we will not attract the numbers that the likes of, the Kairos is attracting, or Kenya is attracting, or Rwanda is attracting. And we can't run away from it. Yes, hotel is expensive, but they also tell you that we're expensive because of the economy that we find ourselves in, right? So we will not be competitive because we're running a business if we bring our costs down. But if a decent hotel in Ghana, it will cost you like $200, $300, and even with $100, you can't get a very good hotel as compared to what you get elsewhere, then there's a big problem that we are going to have. So I think that even though we wish, our people well, we have always been advocating that tourism agenda must come from the top. That is why, in a way, we were not too pleased that our tourism minister didn't get an official seat in cabinet. But we are told
we'll talk about that.
Our next meetings. Yes, our next topic.
Okay.
Yes. So that's for me the most important. That we still need an advocate. I know that the president has demonstrated his or has at least expressed his commitment to the industry, but we want to see it beyond that expression to an effort where we know that this is a national agenda. But when you are in an economy now that they say there are a lot of challenges, with paying our debts, and the government says the economy is broke, sometimes it feels that tourism. Meanwhile, we are meanwhile, our argument is that it's actually your tourism and art that is going to help you turn your economy around. That is your low-hanging fruit, because we've done the same thing over and over and over again, and we haven't seen that groundbreaking transformation that we want to see in our economy. So yes, if we continue to see tourism and arts as their effort, yes, we will support it when we can. Then at the end of the day, we'll still be going around 4 years down the line. The economy will not have transformed astronomically as we may hope it to be. So that's the bigger picture. Let's come down and I'll conclude with the smaller picture. Maame Efua, let me talk about data. Just to avert your mind to it, that is something that probably you have to look at very well. I know we've commended GT and the Kwame for Year of Return initiative. There's been a lot of talk that our tourism numbers went up 1.1, maybe 1.2 at some point.
Yeah.
To what extent is that as a result of the effort we put in place, or as a result of what is already organic? Because Ghana has always attracted some level of visitors, right? And if you did the projections, you would expect that year on year there should be some particular growth, when you disaggregate the numbers, you look at, there are people who are coming for business travels, there are people who are coming, Ghanaians who are abroad coming to visit their families, there are people coming for school, for health, there are people coming for heritage tourism. You can actually see, they actually give you the numbers. And I think that heritage tourism is always around 100,000 or so. So I think that it is important that at the GTA level and all the government agencies to have a good look at the figures and actually ask ourselves whether we are really experiencing the growth that we expect, and that things are not necessarily on autopilot. Yes, some of your efforts may lead to some uptake, in terms of our tourism, but is it really as impressive as we are projecting it to be, or is supposed to be? Even if we didn't put all of these efforts that we've put in place, how much of that would we still have gained? Or have we in reality been stagnating? Because our economy actually is growing, right? The population is growing, so you'd expect some commensurate levels in growth. What we saw in Panafest time, when Panafest was in its heydays in the late middle 90s, at the time that you were hosting the likes of the Nation of Islam, which I find it very important. If you compare that era to this era and you do whatever analysis you're supposed to do, have we really experienced a major boost in our tourism as against what it was before? I think that we have to probably conduct an important study, a study that may not be interested in showing that, we're actually working, but to have a very, very important look at the figures. Because once we do that, then we can easily ascertain that, okay, this what we are doing is giving us results, or it's not, because we're investing some effort. I know he talked about the fact that the GT always goes around the world trying to promote Ghanaian tourism, so we're putting resources into that, right? So one of the suggestions I would like to make to Maame Efua is to see how there can be a really unbiased, dispassionate analysis of the tourism figures comparatively over the years as against the effort we have put in place, to see if there's actually a deliberate increase in the numbers, or what we're experiencing is nothing really transformational. Then that will also guide her to know that, okay, maybe what we've been doing over the years, we need to tweak it this way, we need to tweak it that way. But for me, my personal target is that we should be able to double our tourism numbers from at least 1 to 2 million. I've always said that around that 1 million.
That's my position.
Yes. Yeah, 1 million. Then if it's about 2 million, then you know that something has gone in. Between 900 to 1 million, 800,000, 1.2, I still feel we're still playing in the comfort zone. And it is with a little effort you can achieve that. Even if we close down GTA today, we close down all the tourism agencies today, we are still going to experience those figures. Ghanaians who are living abroad, if there's time for them to come, they will come. Our educational people, those who travel to come to school, they will come. Because of our healthcare facilities, they will come. So without even much efforts, so the question is, if we close down all of these agencies like Trump is doing with Dodge, right? Right, and we are still able to attract 800 to 900,000 people, then what is the purpose of those agencies? So for me, I think that we should have that very important analysis, and we should set ourselves the target and see what are the low-hanging fruits and where can we increase those numbers. But for me, 2 million to tell me that, okay, within this past next 4 years, something really has gone on into engineering a particular system that is ensuring this uptake. But once again, I recognize the fact that it will not just be within their powers, it will have to connect to the entire government machinery, to other fellow ministers, all the way to His Excellency the President.
So Chief, what
all
are
right.
we supposed to do to achieve the 2
Can I
million?
add to
Yes,
that?
yes.
Huh?
Okay.
What are
Okay.
we supposed to do to achieve the 2 million?
Okay.
If I can say something, as an example.
Yes,
Chief,
I have one example, but
Yeah, as an
Okay.
example,
Yeah,
last year I was in Kenya for the Magical Kenya Travel Expo, and as part of what the president said when he presented his opening address was that Kenya is aiming to reach 5 million arrivals by 2027. Currently, they are doing 2 million.
Okay.
2.4. I mean, last year they did 2.4 million. They want to reach 5 million by 20. And what are the things that they are going to do to make sure they get there? One, they're going to expand the airport. So the airport connects to, it becomes a place where a lot of airlines will at least land. There may be people who will come out and do 1 or 2. Secondly, they are going to give what they call nomad visas to people. You don't have to get a regular visa to come to Kenya. You could come and live in Kenya for 3 months, 6 months and work from there. So you don't come only on holiday. They're also going to give people visas on arrival.
Okay.
So that you can go into, Kenya, and Nairobi is one of the, if not the only city with a national park inside a city. So you could leave the airport if you are on transit for long, just go and tour and maybe come back to the airport. So you go. So I'm just saying that to be able to move your numbers, there are things that you have to do, and that must come from the top. And saying that, yes, we're currently doing around 1 million. Let's do 2 million. And there are things we need to do to be able to get there. You know.
Please, I know that Auntie Joyce Bauer is listening. She listens to this show a lot, and
Good.
she's special aid to the president. She has the ear of the president. So please, when you sit down to have tea, Auntie Joyce, please, we want our tourism numbers to move from 1 million to 2 million. But I want to give Maame Efua, in effect, our minister, Auntie Jifa, and in effect, His Excellency the President, a suggestion that I was keeping in, so when Francis Doku becomes a minister or something, I was going to give it to him. But this is never going to happen.
Never say never.
I call it, we need to conduct an experiment. And I call it the Ghana bouquet.
Okay.
Visit Ghana 5 days for $2,000. Airline, hotel, visit, blah, blah, blah. I'm just giving you an example. To put together a tour package that is comprehensive, that captures from airline flight to accommodation to experience, and actually sell it aggressively around the world. Because airline tickets can be a great prohibition, especially during December. The prices go. Visas. So you make everything easy. Even if government has to underwrite part of the cost, I think we should conduct an experiment, a global experiment, because now the brand, and we said it on this show, that the dividends of year of return would not have been experienced in that same year, because it's brand Ghana that we are building, and that brand Ghana is becoming hot and hot and hot. So imagine we have a global publicity campaign to visit Ghana at a price point. You can have it from 2,000 to 10,000. You can have from the basic, to the luxurious, and it's actually a well curated package that government agencies are all aligned with, from transport to education to blah, 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 blah. And the package is very much, and if it is heritage, it's heritage. If it's a bouquet of different things, bouquet of different things. But you just put a basic price point. So all I have to do is go onto some website, click, and that is it. And the process would. I think if we're able to experiment something like that may, because you need an event or you need an activation to be able to bring in mass numbers, and we have to start by triggering something. So visit Ghana with $2,000, and you partner, and the government actually leads in talking to the airlines, because look, if the hotels know that over this period of months I am guaranteed this number of people, I can afford to peg my hotel price at this level. Government will do it. Elections this year, we want to bring in 500,000 people. This is how we are going to do it, and let it be an interagency complete effort. If I actually had money, I would have invested in a project like that independently, right? But give me 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 years. But that's actually my suggestion.
Okay.
A Ghana bouquet kind of like tourism package that is championed by the government, that is all inclusive with a particular price point in different graduations, and sell it aggressively around the world, and experiment to see how many people, just because of that package, would jump onto that train.
Chief,
let me ask,
if it wasn't for my mantra of accentuating the positive this year, I would say Jansen Hunu.
Let me ask Maame Efua if what Chief said is in Senhunu or in Papa. Maame Efua,
Francis Doku agrees with me.
No, is Chief saying Senhunu or in Papa?
To a large extent, I agree with Chief. It's high time as a country we take our research and data very, very seriously.
Data is important.
And what he's saying is that monitoring and evaluation is very, very key. And at my authority, we have a section for that. And I believe that we will encourage, we will put in some more money in that department so that we can generate proper and correct figures there. So, Chief, that will be done. Apart from that, you also mentioned mice, okay? Yeah. And I believe that mice is a game changer now. It's a game changer now. And to make it very successful here in our part of the world, it will be important for us Ghanaians to even organize some of the conventions ourselves. Organize huge events and find a way of advertising it out there to make sure that we are calling them, we are asking them to come home.
Okay.
So not only are we going to fall, with not too long ago, we had events that made people come down, like concerts, names, And in the same way, with MICE, we can have huge programs that can let them also come to attend some of these things. But when the demand, exceeds when the supply, demand and supply, so when there's that much demand, it will be automatic for government to look at our convention centers, So I believe that it's important that my government looks at the trade fair, finds out what is happening to the trade fair. If truly the 20,000 facility is going to happen, then we need to spearhead it. We need to make sure that happens.
It started, though.
It started.
Yeah.
Nice one.
The construction.
Then we need to look at
it. Started before they left power.
We need to look at it, yes.
I don't know if it's ongoing, but
we need to look at it and spearhead it.
Yeah.
Another thing is the Marine Drive. There are so many projects in there, and they have huge conference centers also within the drive. So if that also starts, I believe that we'll be increasing the numbers when it comes to conference centers, hotels, accommodation, and all of that.
Great.
So it's just a matter of time. We will get there.
All right, Joe 99.7 FM. I beg. Joe 99.7 FM. This is Showbiz A-Z. Some of your thoughts right here. This one says, Uncle Ken, if the president does not appoint or approve the appointment of the board, then you have no basis to blame poor performance of the tourism industry. This one is from Stephen Asante's Pintex. And this one says, I just love Maame Efua's soft voice. Her style of communication is infectious. I wish her all the best. The Lord will see her through. Amen. Araba Newton. And this one says, please, nowhere does tourism stand alone. Tourism thrives on infrastructure, roads, the environment, etc. Not only are hotels amongst the most expensive on the continent, but services are so poor. It's not enough expecting 2 million Ghana cities or so, 2 million people or so to visit. But what are we offering? The environment destroyed? Please, let's work on the services and the rest will follow. This one from Otu Abeka. Joy 99.7 FM, still here on Showbiz A-Z, and we have Maame Efua Houadjeto, who is CEO of the GTA, with us. We'll be right back.
After hours of planning, Kwame and Yao played perfect multi-bet. A big win on United, and both teams to score in the London Derby. But Yawa, who could have picked Leicester over City? Or a high-scoring game at the London Stadium? But Kwame no dey shake. Unlike Yao, it dey bet plus Betway. And with Betway's Bet Saver, he can win even if his bet misses. On multiple losses, he can get back his bet and more. Bet Saver, exclusive to Betway. Get way more. Terms and conditions apply. Regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18.
Upgrades are nice, but stepping up is woohoo! Because when you upgrade with GoTV, we'll step you up to the next package. Upgrade today to get more than more with Step Up, where if you're on GoTV Plus and upgrade to GoTV Max, you'll get even more with GoTV Super. Get big value, get big entertainment, get stepped up to even more with GoTV. Upgrade today on the My GoTV app or visit GoTVAfrica.com. Terms and conditions apply. Offer ends 31 March 2025.
Wear a condom for sex and protect yourself from HIV. HIV has no cure, no condom, no sex. This message is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
Want more money, more moolah, more kudi, more sika, or more l'argent?
Yes!
Then win more moolah with 30 Ghana cedis free credit when you play Game Park's Pick 1 and Pick 4 games for the first time.
How?
Just dial *946#, get your first bet, and win on us with a 30 Ghana cedi welcome bonus.
Oh yes, it's all about the moolah.
Win more moolah with Game Park today. Go to GameParkGames.com for more information. Game Park is licensed by the NLA. Play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under 18 years.
It is time again for the biggest Roots Reggae Festival in Africa, Kuchoko Roots Festival. And coming all the way from Kingston, Jamaica, is Culture featuring Kenyatta Hill, alongside Dwayne Stevenson from Augustown. And of course, one George Nooks with all power. All the way from Ghana is your Kuchoko Roots Master, Black Rasta. Many more artists passing through non-stop. Saturday, 8th March 2025. Venue, La Pleasure Beach, Accra. Time, 12 noon till you drop. Rate, 50 Ghana cedis only. And as usual, there will be free cocoa, kulikuli, kose, and masa to break your fast and to put you in the spiritual mood. For more information, you contact 0244 499 461. Powered by Black and Tough and supported by National Youth Authority. Media partners.
Joy 99.7 FM, the Superstation. Still right here on Showbiz A-Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie. We've been having a conversation with the CEO of GTA, Maame Efua Houadjeto. In a moment, we'll be talking about the exclusion of the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts in cabinets. But are you ready to get way more chances to win with Betway? Every single day, you have the key to unlock 5 free spins on Mega Money Wheel, where you stand to win a massive 1 million Ghana cedis jackpot. So what are you waiting for? Log on to betway.com.ga today and take your spins. All thanks to Betway. And tomorrow is a Sunday, so we'll be having the Pentecost Hour with the chairman, Apostle Eric Nyamiche. That's tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. on Joy 99.7 FM. On Mondays, 5:30 a.m., Pentecost Hour will be on Hits 103.9 FM. And then every Saturday, 7 a.m. on Joy Prime Television. So please do make a date. Church of Pentecost, we are possessing the nations for the Lord. All right, so the announcement is out about the president constituting cabinet. So we have seen 19 ministers mentioned. We were looking for our Minister of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. We can't find her in there. We know in previous government, we've had the tourism ministry in cabinet. So the question is, why aren't we in cabinet? Why isn't our Minister of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Honorable Ablanji Fagomashi, in cabinet? Why is that? Some of us think it is not positive for the industry, and that's our next topic for discussion. Let me start with you, Francis Doku, who is CEO of Digital Plugin Limited, also the West Africa Regional Representative of Africa Tourism Partners. Yeah, your opinion, Francis Doku, on this particular one?
All right, thank you so much. Ghana Bouquet. Okay, we'll talk about that.
Francis.
Yeah, I saw the post cabinet meeting photos, and then I realized that I didn't see
your minister,
the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts in it, and so I was finding out to know. I mean, it means that those were the cabinet members, the 19 ministers who are supposed to be part of cabinet, and were not in there. I was a bit disappointed because I've known that tourism has always been a part of cabinet.
Yeah.
And you are able to properly push your case very well, I believe, if you sit directly with your fellow ministers in cabinet and able to make your case very well. I honestly think that we were able to push some of the very strong tourism things that we've mentioned around here.
Yeah.
Chief has mentioned some of them: the Pana Fest, the Emancipation, even the Year of Return. We're able to, in my view, move a lot of those things very strongly because we had the ministers seated with their colleagues in parliament and with the president directly there to argue their case, I believe. And so I was hoping that with this new verve, if you like, of trying to relook at tourism offering and looking at how to drive it with with a Black Star experience that when they're calling ministers that will form cabinet, tourism will be in there as well. Unfortunately, it wasn't. So I was a bit disappointed. Secondly, I think that it also comes to the kind of orientation, if you like, that a country has to include tourism in their cabinet. Some countries, all ministers that are chosen are members of cabinet. You know, I mean, it's only here that you're a minister, but you're not part of cabinet. You know, because being a minister is cabinet. So, for instance, in some countries, Kenya, for instance, the minister is called cabinet secretary. You know, so the Minister for Tourism and Wildlife is Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife because you are a cabinet member.
And Francis, how many ministers do they have?
I don't know the number of ministers they have.
It's
to
important.
Be honest, but some countries don't go beyond a certain number.
Yeah.
Because they will choose, if it's 20, it's 20 ministers, and all of them
members of cabinet. Yeah.
So you don't select 40 something ministers, and only 19 of them are in cabinets, and the rest are sitting, and they have to find another way to bring their issues or their things to. So I believe that we would have to get to a time where ministers are all members of cabinet. But if we don't get there, we need to look at, in my view, things that are, I mean, I take this as not having your director of marketing
exactly
in management, you know, like sitting outside of management, because that's where you want to project your country, you know. So, and tourism is the one ministry that puts out
the third highest earner for economy.
Well, I mean, I haven't still seen how it.
Well, the documents are there.
I haven't seen how it got. But I always say
the report is there. They say it is after cocoa and oil and gas.
I haven't seen that.
Go and check the tourism report.
I've searched the.
You didn't see it.
I haven't seen it. It's still fault. I remember I had an argument with Kojo.
Upon Nkrumah.
No, Kojo.
Okay.
Kojo. I haven't seen it, although they mentioned.
But you've heard it.
I've heard it. But I haven't evidence to say that tourism has moved to number 3 from where it was at number 4. I have to be shown that. But I think the fact is that we want to move it to number 1. That has been the conversation. And you have to knock off cocoa, knock off oil, knock off gold and other minerals to get to. You know, that's the point. I mean,
in fact, Mr. Dadzie, USAID says that tourism is number 2 in Ghana.
Okay. And that is news to me. I've always known number 3. I've always known number 3. Now it's number 2.
I mean, people say a lot of things, but where you see it is in the budget. And I haven't seen that in the financial statement that is presented. People say a lot of things, but you need to see it in the finance minister saying that this sector is bringing in this much, therefore it's number 1. This sector is bringing in, that hasn't been shown. You know, so I mean, so it means that our orientation towards tourism needs to be looked at again, because if we want that particular sector to drive the economy, then there must be that conversation for it to say. I mean, at the end of the day, somebody has to make that decision.
Exactly.
And Madam has shown me the Industry Dynamics 2025 and the USA 2024. Apparel, tourism and hospitality, construction, education, finance, energy, mining. Really, where did they get this?
I said, where did they get this one?
How did apparel become number 1?
All right. Okay,
so just to round up, I feel that and it's not to say that it's a matter of entitlement. You know, I don't think it's entitlement. It is about how the orientation of the nation is. You go to some countries who are very tourism oriented, you see it immediately, you land. If you get to Seychelles number 1 foreign exchange earner is tourism. You know, when COVID came, they were some of the most devastated countries because they didn't have any other means to earn any income.
Wow.
So Seychelles and those Indian Ocean, you know, countries. So when you land, the orientation of everybody is tourism. They see everybody as, you may not be a tourist, but they see everybody who comes in a country as a tourist, and they accord you that, the taxi driver, the waiter, everybody sees you as a. We haven't gotten even half to that stage because we think differently, and I believe that it must directly come from the top.
Awesome.
And so, not adding tourism, in my view, to the cabinet as it is now. Maybe it will come later.
Maybe.
For the first cabinet, I think the first statement that had to be made was that. I don't know who to take out, but that's the discretion of the president. But I feel that whatever it is, for
I can't say it's bad
because I looked on a I looked on a sheet in 2 years ago.
2 years ago,
and it was Mr. Wall at number 18.
Yeah.
So we had it then. We've always had it.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand why now
it's not there.
it was taken out. Maybe there must be an explanation to that.
All right.
We haven't had that.
Chief.
Very soon, I'm adding Ghana Bouquet Coordinator to my title.
To your CV.
Relax.
I mean, I agree. It's a matter of optics. Probably not more of optics than substance, right? Because this industry that we're all seeing the potential of it, we're all expecting that in the president's cabinet, the tourism would have been in there. Although I've been made to understand, that even though the president is constitutionally mandated to appoint 19 cabinet ministers, in reality, when they sit in cabinet, they have more than that. Other sector ministers are able to join. Even the party chairman and the secretary sits in parliament, even though they are not members of parliament, and the other, civil servants, your government officials in parliament. So
in the cabinet,
in cabinet,
not
sorry,
parliament.
In cabinet, right?
Cabinet.
Sorry. So what it means is that
ex officio.
Yes. And I mean, what is cabinet? Let's understand what cabinet is, right? It's not like cabinet discuss government's policies.
Exactly.
Kind of like the highest decision-making body. Obviously, the highest power is in the president. I think even Maame Efua intimated recently that cabinet is pretty much, advisory. So it's not like a decision is made, and if cabinet votes 3 or maybe 50, it's not a voting institution.
Cast in stone.
Yes, at the end of the day, the buck stops to the president. He makes the final call. But cabinet is there to discuss the matters, interministerial issues, so that government can move forward. So for me, as I said, it's a matter of optics.
But it's not necessarily only that, Chief, because cabinet needs to approve certain things as cabinet for it to go to parliament.
Right.
So it must be, and that's why cabinet needs to be constituted properly as cabinet. And constitution mentions the number that has to form cabinet. So it's not just advisory. Sometimes they make decisions that have to go to parliament before parliament approves that.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm saying that as for optics, we would have loved to see the minister captured in there as cabinet. I mean, I was in a meeting where she was a couple of days ago, and she was talking passionately about the fact that she's really going to fight, to ensure that the ministry's budget, the ministry's interest, are highlighted in cabinet, so that the ministry can get the right kind of support they need that can flow to other agencies of the government. So we hope that even though now that her name is not captured, and at least the opportunity for her to still sit in parliament, cabinet, and still contribute will be very important for us.
Great.
And I just want to say that probably I think that what the president or cabinet can do in this line is to ensure that every ministry should at least have a tourism desk, sort of, Every ministry should see how they can, capitalize on the tourism potential of their ministry.
Yeah.
Agric ministry. How can Agric ministry capitalize on the tourism potential of the Agric ministry? And I'll connect it directly to cocoa. There isn't any curated experience of cocoa in this country, even though we're one of the highest producers of cocoa. If you Tetekwash's mausoleum or memorial is moribund. It's almost run down. I think there's nothing to see actually. So if the ministry was thinking tourism beyond all that it is doing, it will also be thinking, how do we derive tourism benefit from this ministry? Education ministry, how do we expand to ensure that more international students are coming into our country? What are the bottlenecks? What can we do? In health, how do we ensure that many people are flying in to get medical services? So probably one of the ways we can improve this sector is if we push for every other minister to begin thinking in this light to see how can we, leverage tourism in our individual ministries to bring in extra income into the country or foreign exchange. And I think that that's one of the ways beyond just what is mandatory, what is constitutional and required. That's one of the ways we can improve the sector if all other ministry are at least thinking, about how to improve the tourism potential. So we are not, of course, enthused that Auntie Jifa, is not officially in cabinet, but at least we take consolation in the fact that she can sit in parliament, and we hope that her presence in parliament will definitely highlight, how do you call it, tourism matters. There's a strange feeling in the studio. Something has changed.
What is?
There's a feeling of shortness.
Some shortness.
I just felt my height depreciate suddenly.
Are you trying to say George crazy?
Oh, okay. That's your, okay. Now it explains it. Minya. But what Gaddafi had Osama beard have you started keeping like that? That will increase your inches. So.
All right. Joy 99.7 FM. We have some of your thoughts right here. This one says, good evening, Joy FM. Please, the notion that tourism ministry has been out is wrong notion and misinformation. Note that other sector ministers attended cabinets and are always invited to participate in meetings. Tourism and culture and creative arts is on top of President Mahame's agenda. Nijangba, Accra. Yes, another one says, I work in health, and most international conferences are held in East or Southern Africa, where prices are much lower and quality of service much higher. They promote their local dishes, but in Ghana, you never get our local dishes served when you go to conference or for conferences. If you want to eat local foods, you have to go to a chop bar. As for those who serve, they sometimes get angry when you ask for something. We can do it. BB from North K. Now let me come to you, Uncle Ken.
Can I just quickly?
Yes.
The cabinet, Article 76.
Yeah.
There shall be a cabinet which shall consist of the president, the vice president, not less than 10, not more than 19 ministers of state.
Yeah.
The cabinet shall assist the president in the determination of general policy of the government.
Exactly.
The cabinet shall be summoned by the president, who shall preside at all meetings. The cabinet shall regulate the procedure at its meetings. So it's assistance.
Yeah. Right.
So it means that it's not mandatory. The president is not beholden to cabinet, right? It's not like cabinet can instruct the president to do this.
No, but cabinet is different from the Council of State.
All right.
The advice of the Council of State, the president can decide to take.
Yes, the advice of cabinet.
The cabinet, they are working with the president.
Yes, but the cabinet does not.
Let's leave cabinet now. Let's leave cabinet now.
Don't confuse the two. They are assisting the president.
But what I'm saying is that their decisions are not binding on the president.
It's not a decision of cabinet, including the president.
I know, but if you take the president out, cabinet cannot say that.
No, you can't take the president out because he's part of cabinet.
Yes, I agree with you. But let's not create an impression as if a group of ministers can band together and instruct the president.
No, they are not. That's not what anybody is saying.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
In fact, it's still very advisory.
Uncle Ken, please come in. Then we take final words from Maame Efua. So Uncle Ken.
I wish you could have left the two of them to go.
Continue about your bag.
Yeah.
Let me correct an impression.
Okay.
When I said before that what Chief was.
Then say no. Then say no bet.
How did you tell me? No, how did you tell me your submission?
Bouquet.
Ghana bouquet. What I meant was that if people like Chief Momen, Francis Doku, Maame Efua sitting here, were going to champion, and George Quay, God is good.
God is good.
George Quay has just walked in. Exactly. And if people like George Quay could join that for them to achieve the objective of the bouquet, I would vote 100% for it. But with the people, then the one aspect was to mean that with people in certain places that he has to go and talk to and deal with, who will pull him down because of parochial interests and stuff like that. that.
Not by himself.
Not that is what I was referring to.
Okay.
As
Okay.
would not be possible.
Okay.
Now, let me go to this cabinet issue.
Yeah. Please, 1 minute, I beg.
And that is what I was referring to earlier on, that a friend of mine called to say, why are you people like that? You first of all were clamoring for a ministerial position. You got the ministerial position. After getting the ministerial position, now that you're excluded from cabinet, you are also now talking.
Of course, but we're not clamoring for ministerial position. There will be a ministerial. There's a minister. So there will be a minister at all. So we're not clamoring for ministerial position.
No. Hold on. When I say you were clamoring for what he meant was that people in the creative arts were clamoring for a minister
from the sector.
Okay. We get you now. We get you now.
Got that.
Okay.
People like George Quay.
and you, and Kwame Dadzie, and Philip Nye, all of you. And even though you got that, you now come up and say you've been exempted from cabinet. So he was asking me, why are you people like that? You always feel so entitled. And I said to him, it is not that we feel entitled.
Okay.
It is because we love our industry.
Very well.
Very well. And we want to see our industry progress at a rate. At a rate which might seem too fast for him.
Uncle Ken.
That's what I said to him.
Thank you.
So,
no. Continue. The time is so. I beg. Maame hasn't spoken.
Maame hasn't spoken.
Yes, please.
So let me just say
yes.
that the fact of the matter is, even though our minister is not in cabinet.
Yeah.
Officially, the fact of the matter is, if anything worthy of discussion in our industry comes up, and she has to be invited to attend cabinet, nothing stops her from being invited to go to cabinet.
Okay, sure.
Sure.
That's
so
fair.
we don't have too much of a problem.
Okay.
So let's all calm down. Let's all calm down.
That's fair.
She has a lot of work to do with Maame Efua.
Okay.
In preparation for wanting to be in cabinet to those issues.
All right.
So let's be calm.
Maame Efua, please, your final words.
Well, I'd like to say that this industry is very close to the heart of John Dramani Mahama, the president of Ghana. He has engaged this industry a number of times, and at every engagement, he promises them that he's going to give some sort of facelift to our conferences, our conference centers, our what do you call it? The word just escaped. But anyway,
centers.
Yes, convention centers and all of that. National Theatre. He wants to give the industry a facelift in all, and I believe that once he does that, he will be able to rope us in everything that we want.
Good.
We also have a very strong minister. Our sector minister is a very strong woman. And this woman loves the industries to bits. And I'm sure that no matter what we want in the industry and we want to see fixed in the industry, Mamaga will certainly, walk to cabinet and deliver it for us. And her wish will be done.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Maame Efua Houadjeto. And he's CEO of Ghana Tourism Authority. It's been great having you on Joy 99.7 FM Showbiz A-Z. My name is Kwame Dadzie. A big thank you to Uncle Ken, to you, Chief Moment, to you, Maame Efua Houadjeto, Francis Doku, and then Gideon Asare. We're back next week.